Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of the WoUHE podcast. My name is Madeline Gilbert. I'm the initiative coordinator of our Marginalized Gender program here at University of Hawaii at Manoa, and also the player support coordinator of our esports program. Today, I'm joined by two super cool guests, Minori and Vivienne. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
I can start. So I'm Minori. I'm the co-founder and current president of Marginalized Genders in Gaming at UCSB, and then also this year's co-president of UCSB Esports.
And I'm Vivienne. I'm currently a fourth year at UC Berkeley, and last year I was co-president of Cal Marginalized Genders in Gaming. This year I'm a senior advisor to stick around and help out all the officers.
Awesome. So I met these two cool people basically online, but I was immediately super interested in what you guys were doing. And honestly, both of your marginalized programs were kind of like a skeleton of what I wanted to create mine, because I was just starting and kind of just finding that space. No idea what it's meant to look like, no idea how to set it up. So it was really amazing to be able to see the kind of spaces that you've created and what you guys have built up and how you run everything as a group and individually as well, how you're involved, because it really helped me learn more about my program. You're all well loved in my community. Everyone knows who you are, which is kind of funny, I think. But yeah, so it's awesome to have two also leaders in gaming. I did want to know a little more about your kind of positions, or maybe Vivienne, because you're not retired, but you're kind of going into the
Semi-retired.
semi-retired. So how is your this past year in your position, and kind of what did you get up to?
Yeah, so from fall of last year to spring of 2023, I was co-president. It was a lot of just learning how to lead a team effectively and making sure that we had events that people enjoyed, and we held mentorship stuff also that was helpful for people. And then this year, as senior advisor, I'm sort of taking a step back and trying to pass on my knowledge to the new co-presidents this year. They're both great. Shout out to Ivy and Miriam. You're both doing a great job. But yeah, it's been really interesting, sort of um, having this change of mindset where CMGG consumed my brain at all waking hours last year, and it sort of still does. And I'm still really invested in this club, but I have to recognize that I'm not the one who should be checking over every aspect now, and this is just a natural part of school clubs where people have to graduate and leave, and they have to pass on their knowledge. So it's going to be very bittersweet when I do graduate, but the club is in very good hands, and I'm really hopeful for the future.
I'm glad. It kind of makes me, because right now I'm a junior, and so I still have a bit before my senior year, but I'm terrified, who's gonna take over, what the program's gonna look like after I leave, and it's just kind of, I don't know, because this is my baby, and I put so much effort and time in it, and it's really hard not to be selfish or not to want to keep control over everything.
Yeah. Yes, I was also really lucky that CMGG was founded. Oh, I can't remember exactly, but I think back in 2018 when Cal Esports was also founded, and the original founders and the generations of co-presidents before me were just also dedicated and passionate, and they laid the groundwork for me and my co-pres Ansa to be able to be so successful in our year. So
right.
I think it just, yeah, it's a bit scary thinking about it, but I feel really, really lucky that we've had previous years before us to show us really good examples.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, is make sure that if I disappear, because I'm gonna have to eventually, that there is something there. And it's awesome that you had such great leaders to set that up for you. I was also wondering, Minori, please say your name.
Minori.
Minori. I'm gonna cry.
It's okay.
It's such a bad. I'm the absolute worst with names and faces. And then I've called you Hazel like one too many times, and it's so
I get that a
embarrassing.
lot, and so I changed like my Twitter to be like Minori Koga and then say IGN Hazel because I feel like a lot of people were thinking my real name was Hazel, and I was like, hmm.
I think I'm gonna be honest. It's just because Hazel is also a really good name to have. I
Yeah.
think your real name is awesome, but I think Hazel is also like equally good name. So I'm like, this could be your real name. How did you choose Hazel?
Okay, it's like kind of weird when you think about it, but okay, it's because when I signed up for League, I was like, oh my god, I need to make like a username,
Username.
and then I looked over and I looked at my dog. Hazel's my dog's name. Yeah, and then my friends pointed out like, we've been calling you like by your dog's name this whole time, and I was like, oh my gosh, just don't think about it. But yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cute though. I
So cute.
had the absolute worst because my username right now is Mabanuna, and I could not tell you how I got there. It's just kind of random. But my username before that was Gamer Cookies Mad, and instead of a S, there was a Z, and it's still my username on Switch, or no, sorry, on Steam, and it's just like part of my life, but I like to pretend it doesn't exist. But I like Hazel as an in-game name.
Thank you.
Vivian, what's yours?
Um, so I think right now my username is like Honey Badgering. It used to be
Oh heck yeah.
Badgering, but I just like things themed around the word badger because like it just sounds nice to say, and also badgers are really cute, and I love cute animals in general. So,
Has it always stayed the same?
um, no, it used to be something else, but then that was like when I was in middle school. I was like, okay, time
Oh
for a
yeah.
change. I've had this for so long. I need something new and different. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like when you create the like Gmails and you have that like one from your childhood, you're like, maybe I shouldn't have made that at that time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. How did you get into gaming? And what kind of started it for you?
For me, I grew up playing a lot of browser games, so like Webkins, or like I played so much Build-A-Bearville
Mm.
and Pixie Hollow, but and then I got into like Nintendo games, so like Wii, DS, and then um, and then I started playing like Minecraft on a laptop, and then like my introduction, I guess, into PC gaming or like the game that got me a PC was League of Legends. Yeah,
Nice.
I don't play that much anymore, but yeah.
And I guess for me, sort of similar, I also had a Wii, and that was sort of my first foray into gaming. I played a lot of like Mario Kart, Wii Sports Resort, and
Oh
Legend of
yeah.
Zelda, Twilight Princess. And I guess for me, what really like got me hooked on video games was when Overwatch first released in 2016, and my sister was like, "Wow, there's this really cool game." And then I like always begged her to like let me play on her account, and I always played May because she was my favorite. And then
Nice.
yeah, that was basically my introduction to gaming.
Wow. I had kind of a similar experience where I played a lot of Wii games, a lot of Nintendo and stuff like that. But it's funny because I got into PC gaming through Valorant, and unfortunately, I don't really play anymore. I think just the more I've gotten into gaming and the more I've kind of like had to work in gaming, the less time I have to play games. The most I've done is play Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm also kind of a really big Zelda fan, and I want to go back to more of the originals. Have you guys played it yet?
No, I don't actually own a
Really?
Switch, and it's so sad
Yeah.
because I'm like I really want to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom because
Mm,
they seem like right up my alley, but I am like
it's
7 years
expensive.
very late.
Yeah, no, you're good. This is kind of embarrassing, but I bought a Switch only to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So, yeah, I that those are the only games I really have on it, and I think that's just how I want to live my life.
I bought a Switch to play like Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah.
I got the Animal Crossing Switch, and then yeah, I haven't played in a while, but I wanted to play Breath of the Wild. I just like haven't gotten around to it.
No, I played Animal Crossing on my brother's Switch. I actually played Breath of the Wild on my brother's Switch as well, and then decided to get my own. But I just can't go back to Animal Crossing. It's like so much time I would invest in it, and yeah. But it's still a really cool game. It's kind of interesting because I did some research over the summer about Japanese like Japanese companies, esports companies, and how gaming works over there. And now I have such a different perspective about gaming in Japan and kind of how Nintendo works and all of that stuff. Do you guys have Smash teams on your in your
Uh,
programs?
I want to say yes that we do have like a Smash team that competes, but I'm not entirely sure.
We
Yeah.
have like a separate. They're like their separate club. They're not really under esports, but they compete.
Yeah, that happened. We actually just brought them into our program, but they were like their own separate entity and they're like massive. And I never knew they existed. And I was just like, what? Who are these people? Because there's like their team consists of, I think, 20 like varsity members right now, which is insane. And they just do their own thing. And I like they're my favorite team because they do their like they know what they're doing. And I just kind of like I'm like, you guys got it. Do you guys still play games nowadays? Like often, or how frequently do you end up actually playing?
I play games pretty often. Because my
Is it
boyfriend.
League?
No, I actually don't play League like anymore. Like when I got
Oh,
my new PC in January, I didn't download League for a few months.
oh yeah.
Um,
That's me
yeah,
with
but
Valorant now. Anyway,
oh,
sorry.
no, you're good. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then I made a Terraria world with my boyfriend, so we've been
Oh,
doing
cute.
that. It's my first time playing Terraria, and he is like obsessed with Terraria. So like, I don't even know. He'll be like, "Oh, look what I made you! I upgraded your stuff," and I was like, "Thank you."
Okay.
That's really cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no. I
Uh,
Terraria is so like detailed and it's insane. Like most people that are really into that game have never finished it completely because there's so many layers and I feel like I put a lot of hours into it and I've never like gotten that far. So, I kind of gave up. But it is a really cute game to play, especially as co-op.
and I guess for me, I mostly play League now, so sort of opposite of Minori. Um,
Nice.
and I feel like right now, since I'm in my senior year and I'm more dedicated to like touching grass and crossing things off my bucket list, I haven't been playing as much, but I do play pretty often during the week, and I usually like play with my sister and some other friends from high school. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Does your sister play a lot of games?
I would say yeah, but not as much as me. But like, she's like the one who got me into games. She's also the one who got me
Oh,
into
right.
League. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but um, she likes playing support, and I learned ADC because I wanted to lane with her. So
Oh,
we are
cute.
like the dynamic duo in bot lane.
I love that. I think I've only touched support because everything else is scary. I have really wanted to learn jungle. I've been told that I shouldn't, and no one will teach me jungle, so I've just kind of like accepted that I won't be able to ever play, but that's okay.
there's a lot of videos you can learn. I tried learning
I,
jungle.
dude. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, when I would play jungle, I was like
Mm.
shaking the whole game. I don't know why. I was like so nervous. I think because like jungle is a really important role. I was like so
Yeah.
scared that my teammates would flame me. But
No, that's why everyone says everyone's super toxic and like jungle is like the hardest role and all this stuff. But I'm not invested enough to watch like 50 videos on how to play a game. I just want to learn how to play the game while playing the game, and you just cannot do that with League. There's too much stuff, and that's why it makes me sad.
mm,
I think
League
that's
is
why,
really hard.
yeah. No, and there's so many champions, and did you guys see the new champion that came out?
Oh, Briar?
The vampire. I don't know
Yeah.
her name. And then the toes, and then they had to like edit out the toes. Did you
I think
know
they
about
kept
this, Minori?
Wait, what is happening?
I think they kept her like feet in the splash art, and it was like someone like on the internet edited it, but like yeah,
Yeah,
she's a vampire and her
it's
name is
really good
Briar.
art. It just featured the toes like a little too much, and
Featured.
and it just became this whole thing because like all these league players are like taking it and going crazy, and I was like, what is happening
Oh my
over there?
gosh.
I don't really play a lot of league at all, so I can't really say much towards the game or anything like that. I said before I played a lot of Valorant, and that was kind of my main game for a while, and then I went through this whole thing where I was like, I'm too toxic and
Oh
I
no.
want to be a good person. So I stopped because I always solo queue, and you know, like playing games and calming and talking to people is not always the most positive experience. So I think I developed like a really hard shell, and then I was like, this is not fun.
Mm.
But I also used to play a lot of Rocket League, even though I was like not good at it at all.
Rocket League's so hard. My friends and I would play for fun, and I could not even like touch the ball. It's so
Yeah,
bad. It's
like
so hard.
this, it's kind of like League as well. Like the skill level needs to be, you have to put in so many hours to understand the game and to be able to build like mechanical skill. I think League is probably more knowledge and skill. But Rocket League is like pure mechanical skill. Like you could have no game awareness and still play well. Yeah. I used to play a lot of like singles, and that's the most like brain dead kind of game mode that they offered. And then my controller broke, so I also haven't played that for a while, which is like a little sad.
My only exposure to Rocket League was like when they did like the Lucio Ball mode in Overwatch, and it was sort of
Oh
like that.
yeah. No, I saw that. It's kind of like I feel like I always have a level of awareness of what's happening in like video games, but I just don't put any effort into playing it because my position like kind of makes me have to know at least somewhat what's going on. So also keeping up with drama is really funny, and there's just all this stuff that's always kind of happening. But I kind of got into my position through starting content, and the way that we function here in Hawaii is like as an esports program. I feel like every program has their own kind of way of functioning or like building or kind of getting into it. So I wanted to learn more about how you guys got into your program or how it was introduced to you and stuff like that.
I can start, I guess. For are you talking about the marginalized gender programs?
Yeah,
Okay.
can do both.
Um okay. So for me specifically, I guess I was like the one who brought up the idea. What happened was it was around game changers, like game changers came to my attention in Valorant, and then I realized that we didn't have a team like that, like marginalized gender team or yeah. So I thought about creating a team, and then I thought it would be kind of hard because it didn't seem like many other schools had those kind of teams, so it'd be hard to find scrims and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then realized that there wasn't even like a club or like a space for marginalized genders in gaming. So that's like where it started. And then I reached out to other people, Hyomin and Kylie, to help me kind of execute this idea. But that's how I found out about Cal marginalized genders in gaming. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you can probably kind of tell like I feel like they're the blueprint. Like we've seen UCLA gamers
Yeah,
without
they're
labels.
big.
Yeah, it's a huge club, huge program, and like they did such a good job with it. So we see all these other programs like mine, kind of taking after that, taking bits
Me
and
too.
pieces or even bigger parts like the mentorship program, um,
Mhm.
and kind of making it our own, but still having the same mission, which is just like creating a safe space, providing opportunities for this these groups that aren't as easily accessible. But yeah, for me, that's kind of how I started. Is that I just kind of like brought the idea up.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like really heartwarming to hear that like CMGG, you consider CMGG as the blueprint. Again, like it's like so many like generations of like co-presidents and students here at Berkeley who are so passionate about this and put their all into it. So really glad to hear that. And then for me, how I got into CMGG, when I was in high school, I was like still obsessed with video games. I was like president of my high school's esports club, and then I had a friend who went to Berkeley who was like, "Hey, I think CMG would be a cool club for you to check out once you
Mhm.
actually start start your school year and stuff." So um, I remember just joining the Discord server as a freshman. It was completely online that year, which kind of sucked. But I went to like every single Overwatch game night they held because I was obsessed with Overwatch. So yeah, I was like, wow, I heckin' love like playing with everyone and being
Mm.
just in a cool space. And um, in my sophomore year, once things were still sort of like half online, half in person, I applied to be a marketing officer. And uh, Jenny and Kathy, who are the co-preses going into the next year, they liked my application. And yeah, I was a marketing officer. And then I think just that helped me develop so many skills related to just working on a team, and it really helped me see like how cool it was to just be in a space with so many people who sort of understood my experiences and were just here to support me and play games with me no matter what. So yeah.
That's awesome. I kind of feel the same way, that just being with people that have the same passions and kind of being able to get people on board that are super into it, and we have all these kind of like cool conversations and stuff like that, has been such a positive impact on me. Because when I started university here at Hawaii, there was only the esports program that we have. And so I got into it by being a massive Valorant nerd. And even though I was really bad at the game, I think I peaked to like silver maybe. But either way, Valorant was also super popular at the time. I think it's going a little down, but it was like peak popularity. So there was a ton of players. Our Valorant team in our esports program was like most popular out of all the other games. And so I kind of was just like, oh, I want to get involved. So I reached out and asked if I could do content for Valorant. And then I like managed content for I think about 6 months, something like that. And then I had this whole conversation with our director, and he was like, do you want to do leadership? And I was like, what? But okay. So it was surprising. I'm not gonna lie. But it was a challenge, and I think it was rewarding and has so far been a lot of fun. So I've actually been doing this for about a year and a half now, a little over. Um, and being like in leadership, I'm mostly working with men, and I'm like, most of our teams are all guys, and there are some women involved, but it was quite bare. And it also felt quite intimidating to me. I could tell that some of the girls were afraid to join like calls with everyone because they're just so loud sometimes, or kind of like they all know each other, and so it's hard for a new person to kind of get involved with the program because it's such an intimidating space. And that's how it felt for me when I first joined. um and already gaming is like a decent amount sexist, so you just kind of have this like uphill battle, and I just didn't want it to be like that for other women in our program, and I wanted it to be an easier kind of process for them to get involved or them to join. So I decided to create the marginalized gender group. It really started off small, and then I was like, oh, how much can I do with this? And also, like, who else is doing this? And that's how I found you guys, just like literally just searching discords and just finding spaces. One of my board members, Ali, I think joined CMGG first because of a Valorant tournament.
Yeah.
so she introduced me to you guys, which was super cool. Because I was also glad that she was able to get involved with that and have an opportunity to kind of crossplay and all of that stuff. But it it's been an interesting journey. I think I'm really glad to have this program now, and we're starting to grow a lot, but there's still a lot I have to learn. And also, the same thing, Vivian, with your program and the mentorship kind of stuff, and how also Minori is taking it on and building her program has been super interesting to kind of like watch and learn because I you guys are quite like inspirational to me. So I've been just, I think it's just been a very positive time. And I've really valued that because sometimes the esports space can be quite negative, and especially as I'm trying to get more into working in esports and promoting internships and kind of getting our players and other people involved in our program into esports has been like tough. But yeah, so overall,
I
thank you
also
guys.
I also have been like just super happy getting to know a whole bunch of like student leaders of marginalized gender clubs. Like Minori and Madeline, you both are amazing to me as well. You're also inspirational to me. And like Taylor from UCLA and a whole bunch of other similar clubs at other college campuses around the US. It's just been really nice, like seeing that we are like making a splash in the esports collegiate scene, and there's going to be so many more of us in the near future. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's super exciting because I feel like we're just starting, and that if we keep this up and like we can kind of grow these programs at the same rate that esports is growing, then we can kind of stop the, I don't know, just create more of a space for women in gaming as early as we can. And I think you guys have already made a really big difference. And so it's great to see like how many other programs there are. Cause honestly, I was just like, I barely know other esports programs, really the only ones my team scrim. So seeing like other marginalized gender programs has been really interesting and has like, I'm like, whoa, this is a whole world out here that I didn't know. But yeah.
I keep getting like chills. I feel like my syndrome is like screaming every time
No.
you guys are like, but that's crazy to hear. And thank you. You guys are also like crazy inspirational, and you guys are doing like crazy things, like such impactful things. And it's just something we should all be proud of. But yeah, I agree that marginalized genders in gaming, that community is literally an entire world that like I didn't know existed until I stepped foot into it. And I never would have expected like networking, I guess, this much. I hate calling it like networking, but it's just like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but it
Getting to
is.
know so many, yeah, but
It's like
it's
the
not
gross
for
business world.
yeah, but it's, I don't know. It's a really great experience to like reach out or get reached out to by all these other people who are just like, we're all just helping each other, and it's like a great experience, a great community. It's been so nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, it's been super rewarding, and knowing that even though we're universities and we're kind of all on our own different paths and stuff like that, that we are kind of like working together and really like, I don't know, just that whole collaboration, the networking, but like getting to know people and kind of building that space. Yeah, I hope one day, like what a dream would be for me is to have like a convention where we can just bring all kind of women in gaming stuff and just put it all in one space and everyone just goes and we can just all be have a fun time. And
Mhm.
then do networking or meet with people or have like events and stuff like that. I think that would be super cool because it does kind of just stay online.
Yeah, that would be like just amazing to, because like even earlier this year at UCEI, which is like the UC Esports Initiative,
Mhm.
getting to see Taylor in person. I'd only been DMing her for a little bit at that point, and just like going like, "Wow, Taylor is here and is like talking to me in person about Gamers Not Labeled," and it's
She's
really cool.
real.
Um, yeah, I would love to first have some sort of like in-person event someday where all of us can meet up.
Yeah, that would be super cool, especially because California, I think, would be the most ideal place for it because so many like big esports programs are there, and it's also an easy place to kind of congregate in. And there's the most like marginalized gender groups, I think, in your area. So that's super cool to see. Hawaii is a little small, I'm going to be honest. So we're all very closely knit. Everyone knows each other really well, which is pros and cons, but obviously there's no other marginalized gender group. There's barely even like support for women in general on campus and on the island. So it's been interesting to kind of navigate that and figure out how we can support each other and what I'm meant to be doing. And that's why I am like, I, I know complimenting is like hard to compliments are hard to take, but you guys are have been like really useful for me for that because I have no one else to look up to because this island is so small. So it's hard to connect with other people and kind of see what they're doing and stuff like that.
Oh, that just like makes me feel like warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh, I'm glad. I always have a hard time taking compliments though. Like I really appreciate it, but I'm always like, is it real? The imposter syndrome thing is so real, dude. Like always, I'm like, am I meant to be here? Like, is this really my life? Like, I don't know.
Of course you are. If you weren't meant to be there, you wouldn't be, at least right now.
Yeah, I hope I stay at least a little bit. Like, what advice would you give to students interested in leading programs like you guys have been doing or like you are? I don't know, Vivian, you already have like kind of offhanded it to other people, but what you would tell them or how you're going to support them or stuff like that.
I guess my advice would be to just not give up. It might be difficult at first, and you might be wondering if you're actually helping anybody. Attendance at events might be low, but I think if you just like keep trying, even the knowledge that you're like changing one person's experience at like their college or just their experience in life in gaming,
Hmm.
that's enough, and other people will want to like have that safe space once they know other people are, and like the community will come, they will, you will have one, and all of us other clubs are here as well if you want to reach out to someone and like, this is so hard, I'm not seeing any like results. um yeah, you've got so many people supporting you, so don't give up.
I completely agree. I mean, my first piece of advice would just be like you can do it. Like, don't tell yourself that you can't do it. And if you don't know what you're doing, people are very responsive, especially in this community. Like, if you just reach out and you ask for help, people are always very willing to help, and you can learn a lot from them and their experiences. Like, you don't have to be doing something for your first time just blindly. um, yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. Shout out to Mia from CU Boulder. I don't know if she talked to you guys, but I mean, she like just reached out to me. She wants to start her own program.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and she literally just asked me a bunch of questions about how I started the program and stuff. And I'm sure like she learned a lot from it, and she's gonna keep learning because she's gonna keep reaching out to people. Um, but yeah, the thing about the community, I also completely agree. That is something I had to learn, is that not learn, but understand that it's okay if just like one person shows up to your meeting, because if that one person feels like they have a community with like even just staff members, um, that is more than enough to make us happy and make us feel like we've fulfilled at least someone's experience. Um, yeah.
Yo, I feel the exact same way because I think it's easy to kind of like think that numbers are super important and that you need all of these people to come to make it valid and kind of to make you feel successful. But at least in like marginalized gender and doing things to support our programs and stuff like that, I'm happy if one person finds something in it. And it could be like barely anything, but if that helps them, if that like improves their life in some way, if that gives them some grounding or makes them feel not alone, then it's completely worth it. And that's like one person. And so anything else is just like a bonus. And definitely, like anyone else in the world interested in creating marginalized gender programs or finding support, I think our communities are super positive and very kind and always willing to talk, always willing to share. And it's just a really nice environment to be in because it does feel really supportive, and like we're always just wanting each other to grow and have the best experience possible and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. The numbers thing hits hard. It's like hard to
Mm,
not look at your general gaming clubs and kind of compare. But like the marginalized gender groups, they're just smaller. They're a portion of the general community, like gaming community. So it only makes sense that the people who join your club, it's just fewer in number.
mm,
Um, and that's not a bad thing at all. It should be. It's pretty good that like there's the whole like community is not marginalized. I guess that's not really possible, but
mm.
um, but yeah, it's yeah. Just don't compare yourself, I guess. And then what Julia told me from CMGG is um, just stay consistent. Like kind of as Vivienne said, if you stay consistent, the community will come. But
Damn, that's such good advice. It's so funny though. You
Julia is
guys are,
awesome, by the way.
yeah.
Shout out Julia.
I've never actually talked to her, but you guys have brought her up a lot and she sounds cool. So maybe I'll just go bother her. Julia, help. That's me with everyone. I'm like constantly DMing people like, yo, how do you do this? Like, what am I meant to be doing with this? But I don't know. It's fun to learn, and we're all still students. And so being in this kind of like leadership position or like a senior kind of position is still like we're still learning. There's no kind of like, oh, we know everything and this is exactly how it should be. There's always room for improving or kind of finding different ways to do things, to learn from different people. And I think I really like that because it keeps it interesting and keeps our perspectives open and stuff like that because we're all from such different places. I think my last question I wanted to ask was, do you guys think that you're going to stay in gaming in the future or find a job kind of correlated with it? Or kind of how do you think those things might intertwine?
Vivienne, you can start.
Okay. Um, I think I'll always love gaming. I'll always be obsessed with video games, so I definitely want to like continue in my career just working in games some way somehow. Um, I definitely love if I could continue doing community work like with CMGG, but for now I'll just like see where my road takes me. But
Hmm.
yeah, I will definitely be in gaming like 10 years down the road.
For me, I also hope to land a job in gaming, probably in like the gaming industry, like video games, not really esports. But we'll see. Because I've also kind of been battling. I've heard there's a lot of it's hard to kind of balance having a jobby. So like your hobby is your
Hmm.
job, video games becomes your job. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Especially in this economy, kind of just
Oh my
kind of land
God.
whatever job we can at this
Yeah,
point.
anything. Especially because I don't know if you guys know, but in the esports scene right now, there's been a lot of layoffs, and the way organizations are restructuring things is like completely different. So I can't even tell you what it would look like in a year because it could be completely different. And that is terrifying in itself because we have no kind of security. But I think no matter what, people are passionate about what they do, um, and hopefully in a healthy way. So you can have a hobby and a job and it doesn't interfere too much. And because there's always going to be passionate people, there's always going to be a space for working in gaming and getting involved. But I still look forward to the future. I think it's going to be cool. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be getting up to and stay in touch. And so I'll be linking both or I'll link anything you guys want in the bio. And then obviously your programs. Just massive shout out to you guys. I'm so thankful that you're here with me and that we were able to talk. And it's lovely to meet you face to face and not just as a Discord profile. So with that, I think we're going to end it tonight. And I hope everyone has a good day.
Thank you,
Thank
Madeline.
you.